Your fear of eggs is holding you back. Eggs are a food that we've been told to eat less of. Why have we been told that, and how many eggs a day should you be eating? Let's get into it. Before we do, I'm Samir and I'm a health coach and a PhD student. If, like me, you were afraid to eat eggs for a long time, I remember at one point I was even eating, egg white omelets, which I now think is insane, right? You may need some help to get over that fear. If you'd like some support, just click the link below to book a free consultation. Okay, so why are people afraid of eggs? Well, we used to be told to fear eggs because of dietary cholesterol. Now, I don't want to go too far down the cholesterol rabbit hole today, but for now, let's just say that dietary cholesterol, such as that found in eggs, is clearly not connected to blood plasma cholesterol. I'm just going to show you a couple of papers to back that up, although I could show a lot more. The first is this case study of a person who had been eating an average of 25 eggs per day for more than a decade. And when this data was collected, he was 88 years of age. He had outlived his mother by a decade. He had outlived his father by more than 4 decades. And he had normal cholesterol levels despite eating 25 eggs a day. Okay. The second is this study that shows that eating 3 eggs per day actually improved blood lipid markers. So the HDL, or good cholesterol, in these young healthy subjects went up. And the LDL changed from the small dense LDL, which are associated with heart disease, to large fluffy LDL, which are thought to be protective or at least not atherogenic. And here's none other than the Cleveland Clinic telling us not to worry about dietary cholesterol, such as that found in eggs. Okay, so that's why eggs were feared prior to, say, 2015 or 2016. Now we know that dietary cholesterol is not an issue. Why is it still feared? And to be honest, I don't really know the answer to that question. There are some people who talk about saturated fat as a risk factor, but that doesn't apply to eggs. The majority of fat in eggs is unsaturated, either monounsaturated or polyunsaturated. Here's a list of the food's highest in saturated fats. As you can see, eggs are not on the list. And of course, as an aside, saturated fat is not an issue. Here's the latest state-of-the-art review and meta-analysis from the American College of Cardiology, which states whole fat dairy, unprocessed meat, eggs, and dark chocolate are saturated fat-rich foods with a complex matrix that are not associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Okay? So why are people still afraid of eggs? I honestly don't know. Now, I should just say that what I'm about to say applies especially to those people who get most of their animal foods from eggs. If you're eating beef and chicken and pork and organ meats and fish and so on, probably doesn't matter whether you have 1 egg or 5 eggs a day. Like, it's probably irrelevant. But a lot of my clients want to avoid many animal foods. A lot of my clients are transitioning from being a vegan or a vegetarian to being an omnivore. So they may have intolerances to some animal foods. So eggs end up being the one form of nutrient-dense animal food that they can take, but the problem is they're not taking enough of them. So most people think that taking an egg or 2 a day is all they need, and many people won't even do that because they're afraid of eggs. So I had a client who would only have 1 egg every second day, right? But when you look at the actual content of an egg, we find that you need 4 or 5 eggs to get a day's worth of vitamin B12. You need 10 to 12 eggs a day to get all of your vitamin A and vitamin D. So again, you can get some of these vitamins from other sources. And if you're eating a good amount of chicken, beef, pork, you may not have to worry about this. And eggs, I should say, are low in one of the B vitamins, in niacin or vitamin B3. So they're a great multivitamin, but you can't rely on them for everything. So you will need some chicken or beef or pork to get some of that too, right? Or shellfish. Furthermore, if you take your eggs with plant foods, you can actually impair the digestion of the healthy nutrients in the egg. So I can't find this data with regard to eggs specifically, but in this study, which looked at zinc absorption when paired with phytate-rich foods like breads and beans, it found that when you eat zinc, you absorb it less when you have phytate-rich foods, right? So if you're having your scrambled eggs on toast, so again, I haven't found the data in eggs specifically. This was to do with zinc-rich foods. So we're talking about beef, oysters, and so on. But if you're having your scrambled eggs with toast or even an egg fried rice, you probably need a lot more eggs to get the vitamins and minerals into your body properly, right? So that bread or that rice is going to impair absorption. We don't know by how much, but you want to increase the number of eggs if you're having it in that way, right? So what are the takeaways here? Number 1, eat your eggs. They are probably the healthiest thing on the plate, okay? They're certainly not unhealthy. Some people have an allergy or a sensitivity to the egg whites. If you're in that camp, then at least eat the egg yolks. The egg yolks are a great multivitamin. They have a lot of minerals. You'll have to find some other source for your proteins. That's okay. Number 2, eat enough eggs. If your primary source of animal foods is an egg, you probably want to start out with 4 or 5 of them per day, and then go up from there until you feel good, right? Until you start to feel yourself, all of your deficiencies, all of your issues are being addressed, right? I see a lot of older people with signs of neurological deficiencies. So we see, for example, shaky hands. We see memory issues. In many cases, this could be from a lack of B vitamins. And indeed, when we increase the number of eggs, we tend to see those symptoms improve, right? So I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but give it a try. Try increasing the number of eggs, see if your symptoms improve. Number 3, avoid those eggs with plant foods. Avoid eating the eggs with plant foods, especially grains. I'll do another video soon on wheat in particular and how it makes things almost impossible to digest. But try to eat your eggs without any plant foods in the same meal. Or if you're going to have plant foods, try to stick to those that are lower in anti-nutrients, like maybe an avocado or maybe some mushrooms. Anything that's sort of more closer to a fruit, certainly not with anything that grows underground, right? That will ensure that you can actually absorb all the good nutrients that you get from the superfood. With that, I'm Samir and I'm a health coach and a PhD student. Feel free to book a free consultation if you'd like to chat more about eggs or anything else. I'll see you next time.